first of all, Kevin, what has life been like for you for the last 18 months?
Like everyone, it's a hard time. Or as Newfoundland, as they say, it's a time. It's been. I left New York. I was here in New York the last 3 years and doing a lot of public speaking and book talks. And but after the pandemic, I went back to Texas, where I have spent most of my life, and ended up getting a job there. And so now balancing that, and then my passion, my charity, Pay It Forward 9/11, which of course for the 20th anniversary is in full gear and lots of exciting activities ahead for next week.
So you actually are now living in Texas,
right? Living in Austin.
In Austin, okay. Well, that's a lovely city. That's a good city.
Yeah.
Very different from other parts of Texas.
Yes, it is. They call it the blueberry and the tomato soup. It's a very progressive city, but frankly, so many people have been moving there from California and New York that it's sort of lost its. I've been around so long, I'm becoming a ornery old person who complains about all the new people. So I think I'll be back in New York sometime next year.
Oh, all right. That's good to know. So speaking about Pay It Forward 9/11, can you tell us how it began for you?
Sure. Well, of course, there's even a line in the musical Come From Away that when I went back for the 10th anniversary, and that's when I was interviewed by David Hine, Irene Sankoff, and I had already begun doing my Pay It Forward 9/11 project starting in 2002. And because after having that remarkable experience in Gander, I came back, and people there kept saying, no thanks are necessary. Everything is paid in full. And so I couldn't pay them back. So I decided to borrow an idea from the movie Pay It Forward. And so in 2002, we closed the doors of my company. I would hand out $100 bills and have people go do random good deeds for strangers. And that continued on for 15, 16 years while I was at my company. And then when I stepped down, I wrote my book, Channel of Peace. I actually have a whole chapter in there about 15 years of remarkable stories of how people do these simple things and how it changed their life. And it all goes back to the ripple effect that was started with me and the people from Gander helping me 20 years ago.
So here's the book, by the way. I have my copy right here.
Hey, good.
And it's still available for sale. I know that House of Anansi has it on their website, so you can buy it directly from there.
Yeah.
And I think
paperback and audiobook as well.
Yes, and I think some bookstores in Toronto still have it. They still carry it.
Chapters carry it. Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
Indigo. That's right. Yeah, so that's really good. So if people really want to find out your story, this is it. This tells the whole thing. So now tell us about this year's Pay It Forward. How is it different?
Well, what's different about Pay It Forward 9/11 this year is that just the volume of participation is skyrocketed. We have set a goal for doing 20,000 good deeds by the 20th anniversary on September 11th. And then we created what's called 11 Days of Kindness and Unity, September 1st through 11th, to give people to say, it's not just one day. Our world, we're in so much suffering right now from the pandemic, from natural disasters, from our lack of unity. As I like to say that, in a time before hashtags, back in 2001, 2002, the words "United We Stand" were pervasive across the world. And now, not so much. And so our thought is, we can't change the political systems, but we can change hearts one at a time. And so we have a lot of great, exciting things happening. And from small town in West Virginia that will be giving away free coffee for 3 hours to anyone who pledges to go out and do 3 good deeds. Back in Austin, Texas, where I live, there's a company that rents kayaks and canoes and paddle boards, and they're going to randomly give away 100 hours of free paddling time to people who also will pay it forward. So magically, these little things they keep growing. And so, for example, even before I left my apartment, there's a man that works there who he is a veteran from the Afghanistan and Iraq war. And so I went to him before I left and I said, that war in Afghanistan is over and I want to thank you for your service. And so I gave him a $50 gift card and didn't even ask him to pay it forward. But within 4 hours, he calls me back and says, hey, I've talked to the management. On September 11th, I'm going to bring in donuts for everybody in the complex. And for everybody to take the donut, they're going to get one of these. We have these smile cards. Smile, you're the recipient of a random act of kindness in honor of the 2,977 lives that were lost on September 11th. And I asked them to go out and continue it with 3 good deeds. So now my one gift card that I purchased is now multiplying dozens and dozens more good deeds. So those are the things that are happening. There's the Canadian Real Estate Association is actually, speaking in my book, they're donating 1,000 copies of Channel of Peace to Toronto area high schools. So I'm excited, grateful for that. And there's the superstar Peg, who everybody knows in York, is getting about 10 schools to get involved in doing Pay It Forward in Canada. So it's a great reminder for people in Canada that September 11th is a national day of service in both US and Canada. And so encourage people to join us and Pay It Forward 9/11 this year.
Just before 9/11 this year, of course, is the Apple TV Plus streaming of the live capture of the show. Were you in the audience on that day in May?
No, I was not I was not, unfortunately, because I was back in Texas, but I have seen the premiere, and I got to tell you, it is amazing and is not to be missed, especially because because the camera is really right there up on the stage in parts of it. You get these views and these reactions, these small, subtle things that you might never see from the theater. So it doesn't replace the theater experience, definitely, but I'm just glad. It's going to really open up this show to people who might not necessarily be musical theater lovers. And so I think this is great, especially because of the message.
Yeah, or don't live in a place where the show has been playing, so can't see it live. So it is great that it will be in people's living rooms and available to them when they want to see it. I wouldn't be surprised if people see it many times.
Right.
You yourself have seen the show how many times now? Do you know?
About 55 in person, maybe 56. It was all the way, it had finally come back to my hometown of Austin, Texas, and then Houston, where Nick and Diane live. And we had a great talk back there in Houston, and Claude Elliott was there. And then boom, the shutdown happened right after that, pretty much. And but I agree. For people that can't see it, what's been surreal for me is I've spent the last several days doing interviews with Apple TV Plus that they set up with reporters in Germany. A lot of interest in this film and all across Germany. And I'm actually part German. So now I asked them, do you want me to answer these questions in English, German, or Newfoundlander? It's taken me 20 years, but I finally figured out why are they so kind and compassionate? And if you ask them, they'll say, well, this is the way we were taught, and this is we take care of each other. But you know what? All human beings, as we've evolved, we are meant to live in communities. We are meant to take care of each other. And but after doing these random good deeds, and I've been studying psychology of compassion, and what I've learned is that the human adult brain is a muscle. It can be trained. And so the more you do things like random acts of kindness, you get this helper's high. You have this great feeling of euphoria. Your blood pressure goes down. Maybe it's just something so simple, buying someone's coffee or what have you. But you feel better. You feel good. So it is in giving that we receive, straight from the prayer of St. Francis. And so, I think that's the reason why they're such a wonderful people is because it makes them feel happy.
Yeah, no, I truly believe that as well. We wouldn't have been able to survive as a species if we didn't help one another. And I think, like many aspects of nature, uh, pleasure comes from things that help us survive, and one of those is helping each other. We're not lone wolves. We need each other, which is what's been very difficult about the last 18 months, because we've been separated for good reason, because we want to overcome this virus and put it to rest. But it's been hard because we're not wired that way. We want to be with other people, and I truly believe that's one of the reasons that theater has survived all the technology that separates people, because you could stay in your own space and see a story unfold on a screen as opposed to being in a theater. But there is something so special about gathering together and sharing a communal experience that technology cannot replicate.
100%, 100%. And I really have such empathy for all of those in your company, all the actors and cast and band and crew who have been without work for such a long time. I'm in New York now, and I went to a bar. Remember going to bars? So they have, if you are vaccinated, you could go to this piano bar. So I went in there, and this woman stepped up to the microphone. It turns out she had been in a production of West Side Story. And so she started singing these songs, this very small, intimate crowd. And I watched her afterwards, and she says, "It felt so good to be able to sing to an audience again." And I went up to her and I actually bought her a drink. I said, "No, as an audience, I was so good to hear live music in person again. It's good for the soul. And we need that collective, the laughter and the tears and the standing ovations. We need that. We need it soon."
Yes, and Come From Away reopens September 21st in New York, and in Toronto we've announced we're going to reopen on December the 7th.
Fantastic.
So we're a bit behind, but we'll get there, and we're all really looking forward to it. So anyway, thank you so much, Kevin, for taking this time out of a very busy time. And I hope that this 9/11 has more pay it forward than ever before. It would be a great thing for people to get involved in.
Thank you. I would love to just encourage anyone watching, if you'll go visit our website at payitforward911.org, and I would love to light up our map. We've got this map with hearts across the world where people are pledging for what they're going to do and where they're going to do it. So it'd be great if more people from Canada joined in.